that has a maple farm. And it's a commercial maple farm, and that's their living. That's what they make their money from. This is how they're surviving. And they were just told that they're getting those trees all cut down. How can they come in and do that? How can they destroy families like that? I don't understand how they're getting, a private company is getting away with this.
Yeah. So I do agree that we need, right now we have a national law that governs what FERC can do and not do. And I think it has too much leeway and doesn't take local economic impact into account enough. I would love to see that change. The reality is that's one of the reasons it's happened in other states. That doesn't mean we are completely powerless in the state of New Hampshire. We still will have this project come through our site evaluation committee. It still will have to apply to permits to state agencies. So if there's going to be wetlands impacts, if there's going to be impacts to fish and game or a state park, they may still have to apply to the state for permits for that. And I think we should do everything within our power as a state to make sure that anything that they apply for, as long as we also follow the law, is only being granted if it's in the best interest of the people of New Hampshire. So there's some tools that we have along the way. I just don't want to paint a rosy picture for you and say if everyone says they're opposed to this, it'll stop. Because the reality
need you to help us with that.
So that is why I went to RING. I'm proud I'm the first person who is running for statewide office or Congress to come out and say that I have issues like that and to list them. I'm proud that a lot of folks have joined me in that since then. And I think that the power of the people in this room, and I've had meetings with other folks and from Pelham and up in Merrimack who are concerned about it. I think that power of thousands of citizens expressing their voice is an important piece of this process, and it has already had an impact on that. When I went to RING and spoke up like that, aside from, I think David Wheeler, who's also with me on the executive council, and some state reps from both parties, there weren't a lot of people who are running for statewide office like me who had raised those concerns. And to be clear, there's a pretty big difference between me and my opponent, Chris Sununu, on this issue. So Chris is someone who's...
That's what concerns me.
Yeah.
If we're going to talk about what Chris Sununu is going to do, we're going to compare the two of you, we get stuck in between the two. That puts you in a position to not have to say that you're against the pipeline. And so we get stuck having to have this discussion with you, trying to push you to where we need you to be. Because you're going to represent us. If you want to represent us, this is what we want, this is what we need. And it's not what's good for New Hampshire. We know it's not what's good for New Hampshire. It's not right. We don't need it. And for goodness sake, everybody on this planet is going, we need to move away from fossil fuels, and New Hampshire's trying to lock us into a fossil fuel future. Somebody needs to put their foot down. We'd like it to be you.
Yeah, so that was why I went to RING in the first place. And let me reiterate what I just said, because I feel like part of what I said you didn't hear.
No, I hear you.
Okay. I will not support this project unless the questions that you are raising and I am raising have been answered.
But what are you waiting for? How long will you wait?
Well, I'm not waiting for...
And you're still saying, but I didn't get my questions answered.
No.
Sir, do you mind if I say something?
Of course, please.